Hey Mrs. Matlock, this is Donovan. I am redoing the polynomial projects. This is the updated version. Part 1 polynomials. Part 1 polynomials, this is the form, and this is the standard form of the equation, and it is to the 5th root because the 5 is the greatest exponent. And as he taught us in class, the fundamental theorem of algebra says that there are 5 roots because it is raised to the 5th power. Here are the real roots of the standard form equation that is right here. There is plus or minus square root of 2, there's the minus part, there's the plus part, and then there's 4. Now there are 2 other roots, but those are imaginary numbers, so you can't actually plot those. Here's the standard form equation yet again, and this is the factored form equation of the standard form equation. And the roots of the equation are 4 plus or minus square root of 2 plus or minus I. Now, we start with the standard form equation and we're going to turn it into the factor form so we can find the factors and roots. So here's the standard form equation. Now, here's what I did. I took them into groups. I'm factoring by grouping because I find it really simple to do and it just worked out really easily for me. So what I did here is I took out the x to the 4th power because it was the greatest common factor here, so you should take it out. So I did the same thing here with x squared, take out the greatest common factor, happened to be x squared, take out the 2, it's the greatest common factor, and you get x minus 4 for all 3 of these. So then you get x minus 4 times x to the 4th minus x squared minus 2 all equals 0. Now we're going to pick up from where I left off because one of our factors is already x minus 4, so we're just going to start over at this one to try and figure out the 2 factors in this one. So what I did is I took the minus 2 and I separated it, so it is x to the 4th minus 1 minus x squared minus 1. I did this because it would be easier to group this way, or easier to factor by grouping this way, and it all equals 0. So then what I did is I put them in parentheses. I got x to the 4th minus 1 minus x squared plus 1 because I brought this down, and since I put parentheses on it and I subtract this one, it turns this into a positive, and you subtract it. So then what I did here is I took this equation right here, x to the 4th minus 1, and turn it into this equation right here, x squared minus 1 times x squared plus 1. This works because if you multiply it out, you'll get x4, and then the 1s will cancel out, and then you get the negative 1 from the 1. Negative 1 times the positive 1, and then we just bring this part down. Then what we do is we bring it down, and then we get this equation here, and then we get this equation down here where we get both of our factors. X squared plus 1 times x squared minus 2 all equals 0. So this is the standard form equation, and I made it equal to this equation here, which is all equal to 0. Then what I did is, since we already have one of our factors here, x minus 4, I took the second part of this equation here and made it equal to x squared plus 1, x squared minus 2 equals 0. So those are our other 2 factors. So this equation right here, this standard form equation right here, all equals x minus 4 times x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 2 all equals 0. So the factors are x minus 4, x squared plus 1, and x squared minus 2 all equals 0. The roots for this equation are 4 plus or minus I and plus or minus the square root of 2.